What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. So it's Memorial Day weekend still, and I've already put out my videos for the day. Getting ready to go live in a little while, right? And I was writing down different ideas. As a content creator, when you first start a channel, it's all new. Everything's fresh. When you've been on YouTube for a long time and you're actually talking about stuff that you've been through in your life, when you're really trying to get a message across, with me, and I have things that I don't want to talk about, it's not easy. I have to feel comfortable with what I put out, right? So, I have different ideas, different things written down. And so I was writing down stuff. I was going I was going over other ideas. And then something dawned on me. I was looking back at old videos of mine because a lot of people are asking me, hey, have you done a video about this? Hey, have you done a video about that? And I have. But I noticed people don't go back into the archives. They don't go back 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, right? And people had told me, when you made your videos 4 years ago, there was a lot of machine noise. You weren't. I was, I guess because I was still fresh out of prison, I talked a whole lot damn slower than I do now. And people say I still talk slow. But anyways, people say, I think you found your rhythm now. You should go back to those videos. And anyways, so I was doing that, and I clicked on most popular videos and looking at that oldest videos. And something popped up, and that's what today's video is about. A year ago, a YouTuber was killed, right? And I saw, I wish it's Barrio something, man. I apologize. He did is it Barrio Tales? I don't remember. But he did a video on an update on the Savage Studio incident. And I actually watched it. I really don't watch a lot of people. I'm telling you, I watch a lot of investing, positive. I like to watch positive stuff on YouTube now. And I'm kind of thinking of doing a video on why that is, right? But I saw that video and I clicked on it because, a lot of people don't want to say this, right? But a lot of YouTubers, regardless of whatever, speak behind the scenes. Doesn't mean they're friends, but as content creators, people have reached out to people. That person and I spoke, I believe, twice, right? And I will say this. I reached out to him. I reached out to him because I saw the direction that he was heading early. When he did the interview on with Josh, what is it, 23 and 1 lockdown. When he did that interview, he was acting like he was something he wasn't, right? Then when it came out that he was a 2-5er, he started putting out videos that I know the way people in prison think. And I just reached out to him and I said, hey, I think you're headed down the wrong path, eh? At the end of the day, we're all men. And what you choose to put out is up to you. I said, but just as some advice, you probably should be very careful with some of the stuff you're doing because it sounds like recruitment and it sounds very disrespectful. And when I told him that, he was the person, if you go back to his videos and you see the bravado and the arrogance and all that, that's not who he was when you talked to him on the phone. He was receptive and he actually backed away from that stuff. But he was young and his ego led him to take on challenges that nobody should be trying to take on. I do want to say that, and I never use this term, but I just for clarification, I saw in that video where it said something about from Sureño to something else, right? I don't remember the whole thing. And then dead. Um, Savage Studios was never ever a Sureño. He may have been a Southsider. I don't know where he was from prior to his incarceration. I've heard different things. People were saying he was from a black gang. People were saying he was from a raza gang. I don't know, but the term Sureño, the actual definition, he was never ever that. I think that it's very, very important, at least to me, to be mindful of the content that we put out, to be respectful of everyone when we put out content. Now, I've stated on many occasions what our intent is when we make a video, what our intent is when we use the verbiage that we use. Once we use it, regardless of what our intent is, perception is the reality. People will choose to interpret your words and your video in a way that suits them. You know what? There are people that will dislike you for whatever the reasons are. And there are those that are so petty in their mind that if they dislike something you say, they shut down everything you say. Everything you say from that point on is skewed in a way that fits their mindset. And that not only is that a petty mind, but people like that find themselves in a lot more trouble than is necessary. I can engage with just about anyone in conversation. I feel like I can carry my own in any conversation. If I don't like what somebody has to say, it's going to be based off of personal experience, based off of, I don't agree with that, but that doesn't mean I dislike the person. That's poison for me. That dude, Savage Studios, has a family. And so I think that anybody that does content on anyone, man, that passes, we should be mindful of the family. I'm sure his mother's hurting. He had I think a son. He had an ex-wife or wife. I don't know what happened with their situation. And on the flip side of that, the person who allegedly killed him, I guess he took a deal already, 25 to life. He has a family too. I don't know what the reason was why that happened. I don't know if they got the right guy, the wrong guy. That's neither here nor there. But I do know that if you invite the devil to your doorstep enough times, he's going to show up sooner or later. And I think every YouTuber, every content creator, no matter which platform, every actor, singer should always be aware of what they say and what they do. Not be scared of anything. Be you. Just don't be disrespectful. I look back at, you have John Lennon. John Lennon was killed by a fan that just turned weird. We don't know when we offend someone, regardless of what your intentions are. Savage Studio chose to engage someone. See, as a content creator, actor, singer, whatever you are, people see you. They know what you look like. They know what you sound like. You don't know what they look like. You don't know what they sound like. That's very dangerous. Me, I'll tell you something that I think a lot of, not all, but a lot of lifers, ex-lifers that I've spoken to, especially when I was in San Diego, there was so many of us back then. That's when so many of us were getting out. And in conversations that I had with them, it was pretty high number agreed with this, that we would probably die out here a violent death because we killed someone violently. And we understood that. All we can do is live every day to the fullest. Tomorrow's not promised. I think Savage Studios, because he was young, you know, when you're young, you think you're invincible. Remember those days? You could run through a fucking wall like nothing. Then you get a little bit older and you bump in the door, and the next day it feels like you got jumped. His age was a curse for him. The fact that I think he didn't experience the realities of prison because he didn't participate in the reindeer games in there. I don't know why he went to the other side, but he did it very young. So he didn't get a taste of the discipline, the professionalism that individuals carry themselves with. Had he got a good taste of that, had he seen homies get stabbed, had he gone on jales and put in work, had he operated under the gun knowing he could get murdered by a cop, had he done those things, he would have appreciated his wife more. He would have been happier with his situation. He wouldn't have engaged people. He would have adored his son. Not to say that he didn't, but he would have known, hey, I could have died in prison. I could have been killed in prison. I could have caught an L in prison. And instead, I got a beautiful wife and a beautiful son. And maybe that would have made him want to stay out of YouTube for a while and get a job and really push hard and support his family and show his family as well as society that, hey, I got it. I understand. But he didn't get those lessons in there. He didn't get those lessons on the streets that led him to prison. He didn't get those lessons in prison, which led to his death. I think, if anything, his story for me is, again, always try to be respectful, whether it's a personal conversation, a work conversation, an interaction with a stranger, or creating content. Try to always be respectful and professional. You can't please everyone. People have their own interpretations, but more than that, understand that life is a blessing, especially for those of us that lived that so-called gangster life. Those of us that were caught up in criminality. Those of us that chose to live by that code of the streets, who turned our back on society, but then luckily we were able to re-enter it, hopefully more grateful, more thankful, and more peaceful. I do want to say that I remember when a year ago when all this happened, again, man, I apologize. I don't remember the name of the channel that put out this new recap, but he did a good job, man. You guys should check it out. I think it's Body or Tales. I don't know. I'll try to look it up, and if I find it, I'll try to put the name on here somewhere or a link to the video. But he clarified something that he said a lot of people, I agree with him. A lot of people should have fixed this. There was a picture of an individual, and that picture was put up, and it was said that that person was the one that took Savage Studios' life. And the guy that did the recap video said if anybody would have just went back to that guy's social media, they would have saw he's still out. It wasn't him. Maybe that caused that guy some headaches. I don't know, but we all have a responsibility when we're putting out content, especially content that serious. But any content, man, we have a responsibility to try to get stuff like that right. I'm going to go ahead and bring this one to a close. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully this video will get you to remember what the hell is important in life, who is important, and remember, you got to be able to love you and respect you before you can love and respect someone else. So with that said, everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, right? I'm out.